Hi guys, welcome back. I am doing another review. I had to. Netflix just released the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and just in time for Halloween, because you need another spooky series to get us going. So this is another 10-hour series. There's 10 episodes available. It got put up on Friday the 26th? Yes, so yesterday. This is not a remake of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I know a lot of people were thinking, oh, this is a remake, it's nothing like that, etc., etc. It is not at all a remake of that show. So don't even go into it thinking about that. There are some of the same characters, but it's not based off that. This is actually loosely based on the Archie horror comic, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And I've not ever read the comics, but even from the covers, which I'll post a cover right over here, I mean, it looks pretty fitting for what the show is. I read some of the synopsis on the comics. It is a little different than the show. So I say loosely because it's got the same characters, but the stories are a little bit different. It is from the producer of Riverdale. I've never watched Riverdale, but it's a very popular show. It's also available on Netflix, but it's a very popular show based on the Archie comics as well. So The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina actually kind of has the same look as Riverdale does. So they have the old like bomber jackets and everybody's driving like vintage cars and everything just seems a little dated, with the exception of a few things. So they have I was kind of watching throughout the whole series to kind of base what year it was, and it doesn't really give you an idea. Other than you do see a laptop once in the movie, and you do see a cell phone once in the movie. But other than that, everything is kind of like old school. The music also is older music, so they have like Credence, Bad Moon Rising is in it, and also I Put a Spell on You. I believe it's a remake, the one that they put in here. So it has some pretty good music in it too, but kind of the aesthetic of it is all very like that 1950s, 1960s with a little bit of a modern twist to it. I will say this show has a lot of darker themes than what I was expecting. Even the preview, which I'll kind of put up here, the preview doesn't even talk about some of the darker themes. It does. It kind of gives you a glimpse at it, but you're not really like aware of how dark the themes are in this show. But I do want to focus on one other thing real quick before I get into the actual story of it. So there are parts of this show where they do like this weird like blurring, like the frame is blurred on all sides except for the center, and it wasn't as noticeable towards the last episodes, but the first few episodes, the first episode, even 30 minutes into it, I was over it. It just, to me, it doesn't look good. I was like, is there something wrong with my TV? Is it not focusing right? Like, didn't know what was going on. So just be aware of that. There is that. You kind of get used to it, and I don't think it happens as much later, but that is something that kind of annoyed me throughout this series. So on that end of it, I wasn't super impressed with that. But so basically what this is about Sabrina, who is getting ready to turn 16, and she is a witch, and she lives with her two aunts and her cousin. And on her 16th birthday, she has to decide whether or not to sign the Book of the Dark, I believe is what they call it. But basically, it's the Book of Satan. So they cut your hand, and you have to sign it. And then you get all these extra powers. Your powers get boosted, but all hail the Dark Lord, Satan this, Satan that. There's a lot of mentioning of Satan, and you see Satan several times in this show. So it's kind of kitschy though, kind of campy, but there is some really there's a lot of blood, some images that I wouldn't recommend for younger audiences, especially as far as the effects, and there are some demons and things like that in this. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about the theme of this. So I watched half of it yesterday, and I just finished the last half of it now. And they're calling it part 1. So, and it does say that her adventures will continue, because the way it kind of ends, obviously, it leads up to more. So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with it. But so it kind of threw me off a little bit. I knew it was going to be darker. I mean, watching the previews, of course, you see a little more like spell casting and a little deeper into that sort of stuff. But the way they play into it is just very interesting. So I was kind of put off by it. There's a lot of people that are probably going to not like the themes of this, and they'll probably even complain about the themes of it. But starting it today, I talked to my little brother, actually, because we talk about all these shows, and I was like, there's something about it, like, I can't put my finger on it. There's something about it that reminds me of something. So, because it's kind of classic, but kind of new, kind of campy, kind of dark, kind of bloody, but kind of funny. So, and then I realized that it reminds me of Tales from the Crypt. Have you guys ever seen Tales from the Crypt? So they always have like these episodes. Each episode is different and has like a flashback episode. And they always have it's like kind of campy, kind of funny, but it's also like kind of spooky, and there's always blood, and it's like more of a modern day Twilight Zone sort of thing. So that's kind of what, after I got my mindset that's kind of what they were going for this, I really enjoyed the show. Like I said, it's 10 episodes. It is an hour long a piece, and then at the end they have 3 little snippet things that just kind of recap stuff. But then that's where it tells you that the story, the chilling adventures, will continue. So you do know that they are going to make more of it eventually. The actors did a pretty good job. I thought the special effects were pretty cool. Like, I wasn't, turned off by that. I thought they did a pretty good job with that too. The storyline, there is a gay character in there. The ants were really, really funny. I really enjoyed them. I'm trying to think without like spoiling everything. Sabrina she's 15, right? So I kept thinking, man, she doesn't really, like, she seems not necessarily stoic, but she's just kind of blank-faced with a lot of stuff. People will present her with stuff, and she just doesn't show a lot of emotion. So I don't know, and she makes some really bad decisions. Like, she thinks she knows everything, but she doesn't. But that's typical for someone that's 15 or 16, so I can kind of forgive that part of it, because I feel like that's just the way she is. I really thought the actress was pretty. She's cute. I think she did a fairly good job. I really liked her in this role. But I also have to remind myself this is kind of based off, these Archie comic sort of things. So that's kind of the stylistic way that they do this stuff. So I thought she did a good job. It's just, I don't know. It's quite interesting. I think it's a good show. I think if you like Tales from the Crypt, if you like shows like that where they do kind of like these flashes of stuff, it is kind of supernatural, but it's like above and beyond supernatural. As far as like spooky stuff, it's not like the show Supernatural. It's completely different than that. But if you think Riverdale meets The Craft, but not so crazy, mixed in with some Tales from the Crypt, then you have this show. But I enjoyed it. It was good to watch. I think it's a great Halloween show to watch. So if you're looking for an episodic series to watch before Halloween, I think this is a good choice. The Haunting of Hill House is really good too. It depends. If you're wanting something a little campier that is kind of funny, kind of mean-spirited, I think this is kind of the route for you. If you want something more serious, I would go for The Haunting of Hill House. But yeah, that's just kind of what I thought about it. If you have any questions about it, or if you have comments yourself or want to like bring up a point for me or whatever, be sure to leave those in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about this series. If you're liking my videos, please give it a thumbs up. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at Orbitinglive. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Whatever I watch next, I'm sure I'll put up here. So you guys can comment with me and let me know what you think. I will see you guys soon. Bye.